I don't like seeing our button active when we're actually making an AJAX request, so let's take care of that. I'm going to introduce a new field, and this is going to be a loading field. So loading should be set to false by default. Okay, so there's no current AJAX request. Then in my computed property that checks if the form is valid, I'm also going to say check and make sure that it's not loading. Okay, so if it's actually loading, then this is going to deactivate the form, right? Because this is true, but this is going to be false. So if this is actually loading, or if there's actually a current AJAX request, then this is going to disable the button, right? So because this is going to be true, but this is going to be false, making the whole thing false. Okay, so when we're attempting to log in, we just need to set this.loading to be true. And if we have an error, meaning we are still gonna be on the form, we just need to say this.loading equals false. So no need to do that if we have a successful response. Okay, so let's check that out. In our login, if I put in an email and a password of secret, or let's just say I put in a password that does not match, and I click on the button, you see it's disabled, and then we have a 422 from our server. But if I put in my correct password, it's still gonna be disabled till we have a successful refresh. Okay, that's what I wanted. Now let's think about how we're going to actually handle responses from our server. So for example, when we actually put in the wrong password just now, we actually received a 422, which means a fail invalidation error. And if we actually head over to our authenticate users thread, that is coming from this send failed login response method, because it's throwing a validation exception with the auth.failed message, right? So if we actually received validation exceptions for email or password or stuff like that, it's going to be taken care of right at the top of our login method right here. But then since we're actually receiving this because the user's email did not match anyone in our database or the password was not correct, this is a validation exception that we're going to receive. Okay, so what happens when we actually receive this validation exception? So what does this exception actually do? If we head over to that class and check out the with messages method, all it does is actually populate the error back, and then it would redirect the user back with the validation errors. So in the very next video, we're going to actually customize this functionality to suit our needs.